Previously on Tycoon's Cosmic Universe, we started creating a cosmic style park which included shops and an epic entrance. It spanned over 2 episodes and it was all for nothing. Let me explain. A couple months ago, whilst making the 3rd episode of the series, I realized the park kind of looked trash. It was very rushed and wasn't one of my best builds. So today I'm going to rebuild the entrance area and make it look 10 times better. We are back for probably one of the last times that we're going to be in this park. Now what we're going to do is keep the general layout, and I like the color scheme, so I'm going to keep that, and we're going to kind of just make the buildings look better. We're going to add more detail, change the road up because it looks very grid orientated. So let's get to a new park. Alright, I have created a new world off camera. I also built the money farm because really, who wants to watch that? And I have also gotten the color scheme and all the textures imported over just so I can reuse them because there was honestly nothing wrong with them. It was just the buildings that I wanted to redo. The first thing I'm going to start building is the road. In the last park, you could see that it was all straight and it was all snapped to the grid, which I don't really like. It looks unnatural, unrealistic. So we're going to add some angles to it to hopefully make it look better. We'll use these primitives just here. There we go. We'll put another one here. Now we'll lower them down just to get it at the same level as the floor. Then we'll just add the colors to it. I've also decided I want the inner path to also slope as well, just to match the outside. I think it'll just look a lot nicer when it's finished. So I'm going to do that now. It's going to probably take me a bit to do. Okay, I have just finished that. That took way longer than expected. So I'm just going to copy this over to the other side, and that should pretty much the road complete. Alright, and that is the road done. Now that we have done that, I'm going to build like the entrance buildings or like the ticket booths or whatever you call them. So we'll get started on those now. Since I didn't really narrate it while I was building, I'm just going to do it now. I kind of just did the same thing last time, same sort of color scheme. I added some windows and some smaller little details, added some lights, finished the roof, and I ended up really liking how this looked. There we go. That looks really good actually. So now all I'm going to do is just copy this over to here. We're going to put some angles on it just to make it look nice. Now we'll place one on the other side as well. Once we've done that, we can chuck the buildings on top of them. Also place one on the other side. There we have it. The 2 entrance buildings are done. Now all we need to do is make the arch that's in the middle of them. Now the arch I'm kind of going for is like a Ferris wheel sort of design, so I'm going to kind of use the pivot rotate tool to make that. The unfortunate thing is, while I was recording this bit, this happened. Okay, so I just set up the pivot. I am so mad right now. I just checked my OBS and it wasn't recording. Yeah, but in the meantime, I made the arch here for the park. So I mean that sucks, but pretty much it's the same as the last park I did, or the last entrance. All the same, except I changed out the barrel and I used primitives instead. This took so long, by the way. I'm just gonna add. So I'm really mad that that didn't record. But pretty much now what we're going to do is make the logo of the park, and we need a name. So I looked at the first video and I checked the comments. There's so many great ideas, but I decided to go with one that I thought would be a bit better suited for the overall theme I want with this park. My theme park is officially going to be called Tycoon's Cosmic Universe. So let's open up Illustrator and get to making the logo. There we go. That's the entrance. The sign will probably be changed, I'm going to be honest. It kind of, So pretty much the entrance of the park is going to be the same sort of layout as the last one. The guests are going to be able to walk in and go forward, left, and right. To make this look nicer though, I'm going to add like sort of like curvature to the edges. It's just going to make it look so much better. Damn, that looks good. Now I'm just going to put the basis of where I want the buildings to go. Right here, I'm making buildings 1 and 2. The vibe I'm going for is kind of like Toverland. I'm also going to use some of the same color elements from the entrance to create continuity around the park. I also added this cool looking orby thing to the top of this building, so yeah. Buildings 3 and 4 were pretty much just the same sort of thing, just with different patterns and slightly different colors. So far the park is looking pretty good. These are the first 4 buildings we got. They're pretty simple, but I think they'll look nice. We can add more detail just a bit later. I'll just ignore my skin, by the way.
Czy to Freddy Fazbear? Oh.
I think it's going great, so now we're going to work on these 2 back buildings here. So for the 2 buildings at the back, I decided I wanted to do something a bit more grand and big. So for this first one, I decided to do a bell tower. And it honestly came out looking really cool. I added these cool little tiny details and the whole thing looks really nice. For the last building on the street, building 6, I decided to go for something quite simple, not as fancy as the bell tower, but it still ended up looking pretty nice. So I have pretty much finished these 2 buildings now, and they look pretty good. I especially like the bell tower one, I don't know, it just looks nice. But now that I look at it, I think it's kind of plain, so what I'm going to try and do just to liven up the city a bit more is just to add some windows to some of the buildings, so we'll do that now. I've now finished putting in all the windows and doors. It honestly makes the park look heaps better. I also added these doors and windows just to add a tiny bit more detail to some of the buildings. Now the next and final step of this episode is the interior of these buildings. I'm going to save these ones for the next episode because they're going to have to do with something else. You'll see what I mean in the next episode. To make my life easier, instead of doing a separate interior for each building, I'm going to combine these buildings that are next to each other to make one big interior. This is the same sort of thing that Disneyland does, where the whole main street is pretty much just 2 massive shops going either side, with the outside looking like multiple buildings. So first of all, I want to make some merch that we can put inside of these buildings, so we'll get started on that now. The very first thing I did was make a bunch of different shirt types, just with different colors. And once I had finished that, I started working on the inside of the buildings, just making a basic floor and a basic roof and making it well lit. After that, I added the shirts and then I moved on to making some more items to sell. I honestly don't know what I made, but they're just like little toys or snow globes. I don't know. They just look pretty cool. So I added them onto some shelves and I put them in the shop as well. So I have finished the first gift shop, which is on the left side. It is very basic, but it will do. Added some little cash registers here, put up the merch. I mean, it looks nice. It's pretty basic, but now we'll get on to the next one, which I'm just going to use the exact same crap, so it's probably just going to look identical. So, yeah. And with that, I started working on the next gift shop. All I did was pretty much move all the features over, kind of change the layout a bit, and there you have it. And with that, I'm going to call that the end of the episode. I mean, we got so much done. We got the entrance remade, looks a lot better. All these buildings done. I mean, and also the insides of the shops. I mean, I think this is a great start. So in the next episode, we're going to move down to here and get the first ride built and build a little area around it. But also we're going to finish off this area, which includes the interior of these 2 buildings and also just some generic decorations around this area. So thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed or want to see how this part goes, remember to subscribe, like and comment. I'll see you in the next one, in the next episode of Kai Corbin's Cosmic Universe.